As a child, I probably never appreciated the stories my dad told me about his droving days and the trips he undertook. But now I feel it is our duty to preserve that part of our family's heritage and feel it a privilege to relay one of his stories in A Drover's Life. From cloudless skies the sun beat down, no end to drought in view. Hard years were here and money scarce. What could the young man do? He'd tramped with Blue, his faithful dog, through Queensland's outback heat, the choking dust, the swarms of flies. They almost had him beat. To quit was far from on his mind, despite life's crushing blows, and though no answer seemed in sight, he just kept on the go. He sold his saddle for some nosh, his bridle bought some smokes. Mount Sturgeon lay not far ahead. He'd heard they're hiring blokes. How fortunes change and prayers are heard. The boss gave him a start to take some heavy drafts down south, which lifted his young heart. So soundly did he sleep that night, as mind and soul were one. He'd leave next morn for Nevertire and rise before the sun. Old Blue, his faithful healer dog, would have to stay behind. Too hard on paws, no wagonette, was what had crossed his mind. With pack horses, 500 drafts, all bound for New South Wales, this jaunt would sort the men from boys and make them tough as nails. The frequent passing of the mobs had left the stock route bare, but with the drafts all in their prime, he guessed they'd make it there. A local cop at Prairie then rode out to meet the crew. "Turn back, you blokes. Mount Sturgeon says the market's fallen through. Seems word from down at Nevertire is bullocks making dough. Your boss says take the drafts back home. His bullocks right to go." They walked the 1,300 head back down the route they'd come, but lack of grass and watering holes make bullocks troublesome. The weather, worn and weary men, each one had done his share. For 6 hard months they'd walked that mob down stock route Stony Bare. With Burke in view, what crossed their minds was what most drovers dread, the river and its swinging bridge, which lay just up ahead. The bridge it stretched for near a mile and spooked the touchy mob. To cross that creaky swinging bridge was gonna be a job. 3 days at dawn and dusk they tried. Each time the mob would balk. No matter what the stockman tried, the bullocks wouldn't walk. A weather-beaten widow, who was truly past her bloom, would silhouette the morning light amidst this face of gloom. Each day the widow, with her mob of motley-looking cows, amazed them as they crossed the bridge. Their mob would snub for hours. Dead beat the drovers watched in awe. These cows with calves at play, observing how they crossed the bridge at dawn and dusk each day. Then finally the penny dropped. They'd use them as their lead. But not for naught, the widow snapped. £5 is what I need. At dawn the widow joined their mob. "Just follow me," she said, and stone the crows, they followed her, all 1,300 head. They pushed the bullocks on to Burke and finally Nevertire, where at long last they stood in yards all ready for the buyer. For 8 long months they'd been away, though felt a sense of pride, a job well done, a wad of notes, and self-esteem beside. 'Twas thoughts of home that filled his head, along with his mate Blue, so grabbed his swag and headed north. A change was overdue. With Blue in tow, he waved goodbye and waited at the bend to hitch a ride and see his folks before the year would end. A thunderhead was rolling in, a change was on the way, but that's the lot of a drover's life. You take it day to day.